2 days after a serious breach happened in Prime Minister's security in Punjab's Firozpur, Solicitor General Tushar Mehta told the Supreme Court bench that banned organisation Sikhs for Justice made a public call for action against the Prime Minister during his Punjab visit. The Solicitor General further said that this could be potentially an incident of international terrorism. In fact, SG Tushar Mehta argued that the inquiry into the Prime Minister's security breach case should not be investigated by the State Inquiry Committee and that it was a deliberate attempt to overreach the judicial process. The Solicitor General has argued that the presence of an NIA officer is absolutely necessary. The bench was headed by Chief Justice N.V. Ramana, Justice Suryakant and Justice Hima Kohli. The PIL seeks accountability and a court-monitored inquiry into the security arrangements by Punjab Police. It also seeks measures to ensure that such lapses don't happen in the future. The Solicitor General's remarks come after Sikh for Justice Chief Gurpant Singh Pannu, ahead of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Punjab, made some shocking remarks. He said, in fact, that the Punjab citizens must protest against Prime Minister and that the people must not listen to the government. He also said that the protesters must show a shoe and they would be handed out $1 lakh.
5 जनवरी ਨੂੰ ਦੇਸ਼ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਕੇ ਵੋਟਾਂ ਮੰਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਵਿਰੋਧ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਦੇਸ਼ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਾਲਿਓ ਵਿਰੋਧ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਤੇ ਕਿਸਾਨ ਭਾਰਤੀ ਹਕੂਮਤ ਦੀ ਈਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਦਾ 5 ਜਨਵਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਚਾਹੇ ਕੋਈ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਵਾਲਾ ਹੈ ਚਾਹੇ ਪੱਤਰਕਾਰ ਹੈ ਚਾਹੇ ਹਸਪਤਾਲ ਦਾ ਕਰਮਚਾਰੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੁੱਤੀ ਵਿਖਾਓ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਦਾ ਸ਼ੂ ਤੇ $1 ਲੱਖ 5 ਜਨਵਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਸ਼ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਕੇ ਵੋਟਾਂ ਮੰਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਵਿਰੋਧ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਦੇਸ਼ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਾਲਿਓ ਵਿਰੋਧ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਤੇ ਕਿਸਾਨ ਭਾਰਤੀ ਹਕੂਮਤ ਦੀ ਈਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਦਾ 5 ਜਨਵਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਚਾਹੇ ਕੋਈ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਵਾਲਾ ਹੈ ਚਾਹੇ ਪੱਤਰਕਾਰ ਹੈ ਚਾਹੇ ਹਸਪਤਾਲ ਦਾ ਕਰਮਚਾਰੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੁੱਤੀ ਵਿਖਾਓ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਦਾ ਸ਼ੂ ਤੇ $1 ਲੱਖ
My colleague Kamaljeet Sandhu is now joining me live on this. Kamaljeet, the charge that the Solicitor General has made in the Supreme Court that this could be an act of international terrorism, alleging that the Sikhs for Justice organization banned outfit had in fact given a call to show a shoe to Prime Minister Modi during his visit, and those who did manage to successfully do that, they would be given $1 lakh. That shows, they said, that there was a conspiracy in order to in fact breach the Prime Minister's security.
See, that the threat to the Prime Minister is definitely there from not just one particular group but several other terror threat groups. Now, we have managed to access documents regarding the Advanced Security Liaison Team, which has both the state police as well as the SPG. What it clearly marks is the threats to the Prime Minister. Also talks about how farm unions, interestingly, the 2 farm unions they mention do not have the Krantikari BKU, which has actually finally claimed responsibility for blocking the Prime Minister's convoy. Now, what is also specific is that there were serious security concerns taken into consideration. He's a highly secured man. The SPG takes care. The team does advanced licensing to ensure that the PM's plan goes seamlessly. Now, considering that for 1.5 years, farmers' protest had gone, they were adamant. Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, along with top senior BJP leaders, were still meeting the farmers till late last night before the Prime Minister was supposed to arrive. So there was a thick ground that there could be protest, but obviously a lot of people did speculate and were under the impression that the Prime Minister would fly down from Batinda to Firozpur. However, the main plan was to stall the supporters of the BJP to go to the Prime Minister's rally, what they had announced as one of the biggest rallies to kickstart their campaign. Having said that, the Prime Minister decided to go by route because heavy rains were lashing Firozpur, and this is where it was the last leg, the 30 kilometers left from Hussainiwala. That is where he got stuck for 15-20 minutes. Now, this is really
Right, we've lost that link with Kamaljeet. We'll try and re-establish that, but Kamaljeet giving us a lay of the land as far as the case that, of course, has been presented by the state government. They are, of course, conducting an inquiry as well. But there was a heated exchange of words between the centre and the state in the Supreme Court today. What transpired in that case as the Supreme Court took it up this morning? First takeaway from that hearing that took place in the Supreme Court, the centre hinted at an international terror conspiracy, pointing fingers at a banned outfit called, in fact, Seek for Justice. The centre names Khalistani group Seeks for Justice in the Supreme Court. Number 3, the Punjab government claims that the SPG didn't follow police advice. That's a very serious charge which has been levelled. Takeaway number 4, the centre and the state have no faith in each other's probe. Clearly, the blame game continues. Takeaway number 5, the Supreme Court has sought the Prime Minister's Punjab travel records to be preserved by the Registrar General of the Punjab High Court. So, Anisha Mathur, in fact, was there. She was listening into that hearing that took place at the Supreme Court. Anisha, we've put out before our viewers some of the key takeaways of that hearing. So eventually what happens now? Are these 2 inquiries to remain stalled until Monday, or can they proceed forward but they cannot take any action vis-a-vis their inquiries?
Well, Palmi, we'll have to see how it is going to play out. Remember, the Supreme Court has given an oral observation that because all the documentation that the inquiry committee has to look into is something that the Registrar General of the High Court is now going to be securing. Therefore, both committees should hold their horses. No action should be taken. But as Kamaljeet was pointing out, that the inquiry committee of the centre has already reached Firozpur. Notices have been issued to the Punjab police officials, and even as the Supreme Court has asked both the Solicitor General of India and the Advocate General of Punjab to communicate to their respective governments that no action or inquiry should be conducted further. This is not an order of the court. This is an oral direction from the court. So whether or not any action is taken, or any action will obviously not be taken, but there is still a slight grey area on if the inquiry committee will continue its inquiry or not. But the court was very clear that neither side is accepting the other inquiry committee. It has become a political blame game of sorts, as both the centre and the state were pointing fingers at each other. The court has said you don't believe their inquiry and they are not happy with your inquiry. So what is the solution? At the moment, let us first secure the evidence, let us first secure the documentation, and neither side should take any action. Hold your horses is what the court has said. So the expectation now is that till Monday, neither committee would have taken any action. But since the committee has already started its inquiry, we'll have to wait and see how this plays out in the court. But what is also very important is the allegations that the state and the centre have made against each other, with the Solicitor General saying that the DGP of Punjab gave a green light to the PM convoy, and the Punjab police officials were seen in a video having tea with the protesters instead of warning the SPG convoy and the warning vehicle of the convoy that there was a blockade on the road. The Solicitor General has also alleged that the Chief Minister of Punjab has admitted that there was serious security breach, and therefore, this is something that has to be looked into very, very deeply. The Punjab government, on the other hand, has said that we had given a warning, that SPG ignored our previous warnings that were given, and now the Punjab police is being made a scapegoat. So while this finger pointing is going on, what we'll have to see is what those communications, what those documentations actually show once the courts start looking into it.
Absolutely. Anisha, thank you so much for bringing us up to speed with what happened exactly in the Supreme Court today vis-a-vis that hearing on the matter of the security breach in Punjab. Now, India Today has in fact accessed the exclusive video which shows a clear lapse in Prime Minister Modi's security. The new video in fact shows protesters on the flyover blocking Prime Minister Modi's convoy. PM Modi was stuck amid the protests for 20 minutes at a location which is just 10 kilometers from the Pakistan border. But the war of words between the Punjab government and the centre continues. The Punjab government has claimed that the PM's route was changed at the last minute. The centre has said that the Punjab government was informed of the route change. Punjab Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi claimed that the protesters were removed from the route early in the morning. The centre has claimed that the Punjab government allowed protesters on the flyover.